Welcome to Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. So today we'll be continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, first chapter, verse 40. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Is it okay if I share the screen now?
Yeah. Thank you. You see in the translation, see? Rita. Aho prita pidiratare bakarte rajarsi varena vinapatenam yes tveka vira dirato vijayigye danor dvitiya kankubas chatasraha. Oh my Lord. You went too high. Okay, keep it right there. Don't move it. Now, oops, now I can't see it.
Oh,
Either bring it up or down, either one. Go bring it down. Bring it down. More. More. Okay, stop. Stop. Oh my Lord, is Prithu still living? She lived only for the sake of her fatherless children. Otherwise, it was impossible for her to live without King Pandu, who was the greatest commander who alone conquered the four directions simply with the help of a second bow. Purport: a faithful wife cannot live without her lord, the husband, and therefore all widows should use to voluntarily embrace the burning fire which consumed the dead husband. This system was very common in India because all of the wives were chaste and faithful to their husbands. Later on, with the advent of the Kali Yuga, age of Kali, the wives gradually began to be less adherent to their husbands, and the voluntary embrace of the fire by the widows became a thing of the past. Very recently, the system was abolished since the voluntary system had become a forcible social custom. When Maharaj Pandu died, both his wife, namely Kunti, and Mani were prepared to embrace the fire. But Madri requested Kunti to live for the sake of the younger children, the five Pandavas. This was agreed upon by Kunti at the added request of Vyasadeva. In spite of her great bereavement, Kunti decided to live, not to enjoy life in the absence of her husband, but only to give protection to the children. This incident is referred to here by Vidura because he knew all the facts about his sister-in-law, Kunti Devi. It is understood that Maharaj Pandu was a great warrior and that he alone, with the help of bow and arrow, could conquer the world's four directions. In the absence of such a husband, it was almost impossible for Kunti to live on even as a widow, but she had to do it for the sake of the five children. Om Gyan Tilvinandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirvase Sunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpatarubhischa Vipa Sindhu Pe Vachapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're hearing about the sacrifice that Queen Kunti performed. It would have been easier for her to give up her life than to live without her husband. and she had because she lamented the death of her husband very grievously. His death was kind of unexpected. Um, he was cursed that if he had sex with with a woman, he would die. And kings sometimes do that. They have more than one uh, lady available, and he did it. And soon as he began, he died. So now she was alone. Madri was the mother of, and we heard it from the previous verse, of Nakul and Sahadev. And Kunti was the mother of the three Pandavas, um, Bhim, Arjun, and Yudhisthira. So they were co-wives of Pandu. But now Pandu's gone. Madri decided to take this to sacrifice her life and join her husband in the next world. And so she gave up her life and entered. Here we talked about the sati rite. That's what it's called, sati, where it was the culture that when the husband died, the wife would never continue to live alone without her husband, and she would also enter into the fire, and that way they would join with each other in the next life again, right after their death. But this went on for a while. In the 1940s, um, the sati rite was abolished because after some time, some of the ladies were no longer willing to follow their husband. And therefore, and then it started to become a forced thing where the women were forced to embrace the fire. And then that became somewhat uh, cruel to force them to do that. And then the British stepped in and abolished that sati rite when they were there ruling. So that whole thing stopped, okay, which was a good thing actually, because it has to be done voluntarily and not with force. Okay, so we get a little bit of the history of this sati, right? But it wasn't easy for Kunti to live on without her husband. But she did it simply to give protection and to give care to their children. So she raised the three Pandavas, actually all five of them, both the sons of Madri, Nakul, and Sahadev were also raised by Kunti. She took care of all five Pandavas. She's considered to be a great saint amongst the ladies. And we have a whole chapter in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describing Kunti's prayers to Krishna and how she was praying that because I'm surrounded by a lot of aristocratic relatives and I'm getting a lot of honor and respect, it's not very easy for me to develop loving relationships with you, because the principle is that when everything materially is going nice, it's very difficult to call out to Krishna from the heart. Therefore, we see Krishna encourages his devotees by giving them some difficulty in material life, which causes them to become more dependent on Krishna. That happens by Krishna's arrangement sometimes, because the devotee wants to become more and more connected with Krishna, but still they're surrounded by a lot of material success. So Kunti prays, let those calamities come again and again. That way we can see you again and again. And if we see you again and again, then we will no longer have to see birth and death in this material world. She prays like that. So that's a very powerful prayer, asking for calamities. Um, Sometimes devotees think I should pray like that. You don't need to pray like that. Calamities are already here. Kali Yuga is full of calamities. Nobody, even the richest of the people in this world, are undergoing calamities all the time. So this is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, ocean of problems, ocean of difficulties, ocean of various types of ways that one can suffer. So, but just living in the material body in this material world is suffering. It's like we're now in the middle of winter. And even in India, it's quite cold in certain areas of India. It's very cold. And the rest of the world, they predict that this winter, the winter of 2025-26, will be the coldest winter in the last 50 years. So this is they expect exceeding cold all around the world. So just get ready. It's coming. If it hasn't come already, it's coming. So don't worry. Marta sparsus tu kuntaya sitnosna sukadukada, happiness and distress that are caused by the changing of the material energy are simply based on the body. So we just have to tolerate and go on with our devotional life. That's all. Sometimes it's too hot. Sometimes it's too cold. Sometimes everything is nice and somebody else is giving you trouble. Sometimes everything is nice and your mind is giving you trouble. Sometimes everything's nice and then you have a toothache. And so, this whole world is full of one problem after another. All you can do is somehow or other tolerate these things and go on with your devotional service. And if your devotional service is strong, you can rise above many of the difficulties that come by way of being attacked by the material energy. You can mitigate the effects of these. In other words, tolerating is one thing, but transcending is another thing. We stay fixed in our devotional service. We can somehow or other see that these things are actually opportunities to go deeper into our Krishna consciousness, to call out to Krishna, to pray to Krishna, to thank Krishna for giving us some difficulties so we can remember him even more and more and more. So Kunti, she's the emblem of the sacrifice. She's the emblem of compassion, giving up all of her own uh, happiness for the sake of her children, to stay there, to protect them and give them what they need. They were small when Pandu died. They needed that mother, they needed parental guidance, parental affection. And now it's only her who did it, and she did a wonderful job. She did it, she was ideal. And when the Pandavas were exiled into the forest, she also went along with them in the exile. She decided to go. She didn't have to go, but she went so she could be with her sons and take care of them like that. And we just went on a retreat into Ekachakra, and Ekachakra was a place where the Pandavas spent 1 year in exile there. And there's a beautiful temple with Radha Krishna deity, Sisi Radha Giridhari. And next to Radha Giridhari, and the next altar over, is the five Pandavas along with Kunti, beautiful deities, large size, almost full size deities, beautiful deities. So yeah, it's a reminder how they had to suffer, how they had to, uh, undergo all of the harassment that was given to them by Duryodhana. Of course, Krishna protected him. When they were living in Ekachakra, there was one demon, and his name was Baka. Baka was harassing the villagers of Ekachakra at the time. And of course, that village was called Veerabhadrapur, wasn't called Ekachakra. Even today, people refer to Ekachakra as Veerabhadrapur. Veerabhadra was the son of Nityananda. And he was an incarnation of Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. He was the Supreme Lord himself. So in that village, there was one demon who was living on a mountain nearby, and every 2 weeks he would come. Every day he would come in and attack one of the villagers and then devour him. He was a man-eating Rakshasa. So this was causing the villagers so much harassment that they made some deal with the demon that they would voluntarily send one of their village members every 2 weeks, along with a big cart full of food for the demon. And the demon agreed. So that was the day. And then when um, the Pandavas were living at the house of one Brahmin whose name was, what was his name? Something Shrava, I can't remember his name. And it was the son of that family who was now designated to go to give his life to that demon. And the family really started to lament they were going to lose their son. Kunti said, that's okay. They were living with the Pandavas and Kunti. Kunti said, I have 5 sons. Let one of my sons go. And so it was decided that Bhima would be the person to go. So Bhima, he loaded up this wheelbarrow cart full of food, and he was dragging it along to bring it to the demon along with himself. But Bhima, as he was going up the mountain, he gets hungry really easy. His name is Vikradar. That's another name for Bhima. Vikradar means one who has a belly like a wolf. So he can devour huge amounts of food. So while he was bringing the cart up, he was pulling it with one hand and eating from it and with the other hand. And then he was getting closer and closer to the demon. And then uh, when the demon started to see he's coming, but he's eating all the food, and who is this person anyway? So he got mad and he attacked Bhima. Bhima didn't want to get, and he didn't want his prasadam to be interfered with. So he was fighting with the demon with one hand and eating the prasadam with the other hand. And at one point, then the demon, Bhima got a little angry, stopped eating, and then he took the demon and he just palmed me. He hit he beat him so bad that you couldn't even recognize him anymore. He was in the size of a ball. His arms and his legs went into his body, and all he was a big mass of flesh. And then Jai Bhima, and then the demon was killed, and that relieved the villagers of all of the harassment from this demon. There's a place there, you can see it. There's a little shrine there where Bhima is fighting with Baka, like that. So yeah, so Kunti, she had to live in in exile along with her sons in different places. It was difficult for a chaste lady who was used to living in a palace. She yeah, she didn't care about her own personal comforts or happiness. She always just wanted to stay with her family and take care of them, and they needed that also. She was more than just a mother. She was almost like a guru to them, taking care of them in all respects. Okay, this is a little bit about Kunti. And so Vidura is asking, how is Prita? Prita is another name for Kunti. Sometimes you see in the verses in the Bhagavad Gita, oh son of Prita, oh son of Prita, that refers to Kunti, and oh son of Prita refers to Arjun. He's called, another name for Arjun is Prita, the son of Prita, like that. Sometimes you see the son or the daughter is referred to in name by the name of their parents, like that. That's culture, giving respects to the parent as they address the child by name. So Vidura, he's continuing to ask about many of the members of the Pandava dynasty, many relatives, friends, and others. And soon we'll hear a response from, I believe it's Uddhava, who's getting the questions. Okay, later on it'll become Maitreya, but now, right now, I think it's still Uddhava. Yeah. Okay, so any questions or comments?
Thank you, Maharaj, for such a wonderful class. Devotees, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands, or if you're not able to speak, then you can type it on the chat box and I can read it out for you. And if everyone can try and turn their cameras on, that'd be really nice, so we can all get your darshan. While we're waiting, is it okay if I ask a question, Maharaj?
Give them a few seconds and see if anyone comes forward. And if they don't do it in within the next 10 or 15 seconds, then you can jump in. Okay, we have Ananya Bhakti Radhika. She has a question.
Mataji,
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Lila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Guru Maharaj, as you were discussing about the Sati Pratha, so the women were voluntarily embracing the fire. So that was like, I was thinking it's a kind of suicide. They were like ending their life before. So will it be considered as suicide or just it was meant to be?
It was part of the sati rite. A chaste woman will not continue her life in the absence of her husband. So that was, I don't know where in the Shastras that's mentioned, but it's part of the Vedic culture going all the way back thousands of years. That's was the tradition. So it's not suicide, no. Suicide is something that you do out of distress, out of negativity. They were thinking, now I can be, my husband is gone. I can be with him again. I give up this body, and we will join together with each other in our next life together. That was the understanding.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. So that means they won't be punished from the Lord because they are ending their body early.
Yeah. Bhavya wants to
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
mention there. Go ahead, Bhavya.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Am I audible, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, talk nice and slow because my mind
Yes,
is really nice.
yes. Also, we can understand this thing that the women in Vedic times, they were very much loyal to their husbands, and they were very much attached on more like deeper level. So also from psychology, we also see these cases in real now as well, that there are many women who just can't live without their partner, and it's like their life is like they're just living like a dead body, because they're missing their partner so much. So we can also understand this thing through psychology.
Yeah, well, of course, Krishna consciousness teaches you that, the soul is eternal and the body is temporary, and death is due for anyone who has a material body. So one has to accept the fact that you'll die, your friends will die, your relatives will die, everybody you know will die. Well, but we live eternally on the spiritual platform. So those who are fixed in knowledge, that they're not disturbed by the change of body.
Yes, Guru
So
Maharaj.
to grieve the departure of a loved one is normal and natural, but to carry it beyond a certain point, then um, it's really because you can't change the situation. It's happened. It's already gone. Now you have to adjust your life and continue on in your Krishna consciousness and not lament the past. You can't, lamenting the past doesn't change the past. So again, to grieve and to feel sad because of the loss of a loved one or anyone, you might say, is natural and normal. But then there's a time period where after some time, you just have to move on in your life and then continue in your practice of Krishna consciousness and then perfect your life and go back to Godhead. Can't stay in that mood of grieving because life is not meant to be lived in that mood. You just have to move on. That's all. Move on means, all right, it happened. I missed the person, but now Krishna's there. My relationship with Krishna is eternal. It's not dependent on the body. Krishna is our real lover. We accept lovers in this world in terms of friends, family members, and others just to fulfill that need for relationship and need for love. But it can be fulfilled perfectly with Krishna. So try to understand the point. Yes, grieving is there, but not beyond a certain. You might say, I don't know, like a few weeks or a month or so, and then just move on. Now, even that's too long.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj, just one point. Can I add? Is it okay?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, like many people in India, they have this doubt that women were forced to do that, and like from this reference of Bhagavatam, which is also there in Mahabharata, we can also see that Queen Madri, she did sati on her own will. She was not forced by anyone, and this thing was like started by some Britishers. They showed this 300, or I think they showed like 500 plus cases, um, like fake cases of sati where sati was forced on women. The sati pratha was this culture was forced on women that they have to die if their husband dies. But that was later than disproven. So I just wanted to add this point because many people they don't know about it.
Sati right was abolished in 1945.
Yeah.
The British abolished it. They abolished it. They didn't propagate it, but it was going on when they came. But when it was forced, then it's cruelty. It's not. It has to be done voluntarily. Complete voluntarily. Not that you have to do it, it's the best thing for you. No. It has to come from the wife or herself, not from anybody else. Okay, so we can move on.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you for that. So Shraddha Matsu, you have a question. Would you like to go ahead?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I was just thinking, Guru Maharaj, about Sati and Shiva's wife in, I can't remember what chapter, but in the Bhagavatam, and when she was listening to all the bad things that her father was saying about Lord Shiva, and she couldn't take it anymore. Her body had so much bad energy had entered into her body, and she couldn't bear it, and she flung herself into the fire there.
Well, no, she didn't fling herself in the fire. She raised the fire in her own body, and the fire in her own body consumed her own body. And that yogis can do that. You have fire within you. And there's a way of building that fire where you can turn it into an inferno.
Mm.
You know what it's like, right? You're always hot. Your fire is hot. So yeah, she did it naturally. Then nobody forced her into any situation. She sat in meditation and raised the chakras in her body and burnt herself up. Shiva warned her that don't go back. You won't be happy. Your father will not respect you. And when she got there, she was neglected by her father. And then she just lashed into her father. He had committed the offense before in the first ceremony to Shiva. Shiva left, and then there was another ceremony, and that was redone again. And then she wanted to go because of her friends and relatives there. Shiva told her, "Don't go. You'll be unhappy. Your father will find fault with me and you and with you because of your relationship with me." And that's what happened. Yeah, so she did it. She was a mystic. She could burn up her own fire. And she's Sati is the personification of the material energy. She's powerful.
So is that where Sati comes from? I mean, the widow
Yeah,
entering the funeral
she appeared
pyre is different from.
when she gave up her body at Sati. She was born as the daughter of the king of mountains. There she became Parvati. In her next life, she was Parvati. Mhm. Yeah. Well, she's powerful. She can burn up the whole material energy. Srishti stisti balaya satyega chayeva jivati durga ichana rupa apasyati chestate sa govinda mari purusham tamam bhajami. She's powerful. She's the wife of Shiva. Shiva's, you know,
I've also heard that the widows, because they considered their husband their guru, so once their husband passed, um, they would follow their husband along that was their spiritual path, to follow their husband along
yeah,
that spiritual journey with him.
yeah. That's the understanding. Mhm.
Thank
But
you.
it's not recommended now. So better to try to become Krishna conscious. That's all.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for such a nice question. Guru Raj, Bhavya Prabhu has a question related to this topic on the chat.
Take the hands first. The chats can come later.
Shridevi Mataji, would you like to go next?
Yeah, the protocol is whoever's got their hand up takes first priority. The chats, they come when we run out of other questions. You have to have some kind of system for choosing people.
Raj. Oh, Shridevi Mataji, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to you. On this question of sati, I wanted to just throw in my 2 cents. My understanding is that the women were so chaste and so powerful, as you said, they could produce fire from within their own bodies and self-immolate. They didn't need to be thrown into the fire or anything like that. We have the example of Vedavati, who was meditating, and then Ravan tried to defile her. Immediately she said, you have defiled this body and I will burn my, I mean, she turned herself into ashes right there in front of Ravan and cursed him that you will, because you have disturbed a woman, your death will be at the hands of a woman. So we have examples like that. And they did not care for their body because they knew they were not the body. And because of that desire to follow the husband, they committed the act of sati. There was no
Okay.
forcing. They wanted to do it.
Yeah, when it became forced, then it became, then it broke the whole principle. The whole reason was destroyed when it became forced. Yeah. Okay. But not all of the women could self-emulate. Only ones who were mystics, they could do that. Sati was not a mystic. She's the personification of material energy. Okay. Okay, we got
Prabhu Krishna Gaviraj Prabhu, would you like to go next?
Thank you. Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, so I think Mother Kunti must have, obviously, Maharaj Pandu, because he was such a great saintly character, he must have had an ideal destination. And Mother Kunti was also very saintly, so she would have had immediate access to such an ideal destination. So it would have been a big sacrifice. And in the verse, or in the purport, it said to give protection to the children. And what is that protection that she was there to give?
Yeah, the children were young at the time. You have to understand they weren't grown up. They were left very early in their life.
But in terms of that, there's little physical protection that she could give, but she could care for them, and she could.
When you lose your mother, that's a big thing. Your mother represents nurture, care, love. Your mother is your dearest person to you outside of Krishna.
So all of that's wrapped up in the term protection.
Protection, yeah. Protection means that's a wide range of protection against so many things, not just physical protection, mental protection, everything, the protection against your own self.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, KK, you're off. You're on. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Shiv Kumar Prabhu, would you like to go next?
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj, one question I had, Maharaj, on speaking of this difference between the body and soul. The gender, we understand the differences here on the bodily level. Now, is there any way that we can understand the spiritual identity also has got a gender, Maharaj? That and the relationship we have and the service that we do differs based on the spiritual identity itself.
Yeah, you have your spiritual body also. Just like you have a material body, you have a spiritual body. Body could be many, not just female or male. Could be a rock in Vaikuntha, could be a tree, a bird, could be so many things. The spiritual identity is also pure, sentient, not like the inanimate objects in this world that are, they can't function. No. Yeah. So we have our spiritual form. It's like we have a material. The soul has form.
Okay.
Yeah, that's there. And as one practices Krishna consciousness under the guise of one's spiritual master, one moves higher and higher in the realization of one's relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world. At one point, it's revealed to the person of their spiritual form, even while they're still in the material world. But that's on a high level. When you come to the stage of bhava or the stage of prema, you can understand it. You don't talk about it though. You don't reveal your spiritual form to anybody except your spiritual. Because if you reveal it, then you start losing the awareness of it. I was preaching in America. This is, I don't know, 30 years ago or more, going to one group of people who were coming to one preaching center in New Jersey. And one very nice Indian lady there, she was there. And she was eager to talk and to raise her hand during the questionnaire and talk about how Prabhupada was coming into her dream and how nice it was. Prabhupada was really giving her a lot of affection, a lot of what we say, and guidance in the dream. So she said it one time, then in another class she said it again. And then I cautioned her. I said, don't speak this publicly because after some time you'll lose it. But she didn't seem to take me seriously. And then 1 year later, I was traveling and I met her in the airport. We were traveling, I think I met her in the London airport. And she came up to me, she said, Marge, you were right. Prabhupada doesn't come in my dream anymore. Yeah, she knew that by speaking about it, she lost it. So you keep that to yourself and to confirm it, because you want confirmation it's real and not some imagination. You speak to your spiritual master, or if your spiritual master is not personally present, someone on the same level of your spiritual master, who you can confide in, who you trust, who you can also take guidance from.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sarada Mataji, would you like to ask a question?
I know there's people in the chat, and this is my second time. So if you'd like to address those questions in the chat, I'm quite happy for that. Maharaj.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just coming back to the point about Kunti as the Pandava's mother and how young the children were when their father passed away. And in particular, the twins, is it
Nakula and
Nakula and Sahadev? Yeah, I think they were like 1 to 1.5 years old, so they were very young at the time. And I know there's a saying that the mother is the first guru for anybody in their current lifetime.
Yeah, that's correct.
So the mother has a it's a very pivotal role, obviously, in anybody's life.
They say you learn most from your parents. They say that. It's true. You get a lot of your ideas, your directions, your values, your things you shouldn't do, coming mostly from your parents. Outside influence is secondary. Parents are usually primary.
When the twins were so young, and their mother was Madri, she would have been incredibly fearful for their future. So
It says here both ladies wanted to go into the fire. But Marjorie told Kunti, "No, you stay and take care of the kids, and I'll follow my husband."
mm,
Kunti wanted to go too, but Marjorie said, the children need you, so you should stay and take care of them." Thank you, Sarada.
thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Should we go ahead to the chat, Maharaj?
We can go into those who chat.
Okay, so Bhavya Prabhu is asking, Sati was the wife of Shiva and she is Bahiranga Shakti of Krishna, then how can she burn?
Who's asking that question?
Bhavya Prabhu. Bhavya Prabhu. Bhavya.
Bhavya?
Yeah.
Tell him just to read the books.
He has another question. Should I ask that one?
If you have a body, it can burn up. The soul is unaffected. The body is what it is. It doesn't mean doesn't mean she was affected by her body being burned up. Doesn't mean that. You might say her immolation was just as easy as walking out one door and going in another door. Bahiranga Shakti is material. Antaranga Shakti is spiritual. For the sake of Leela, these great souls come into the world and act like conditioned souls. Lord Nityananda got hit in the head with a clay pot and his head started to bleed. Lord Nityananda is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That doesn't mean, because his head was bleeding, doesn't mean his body is material. He just exhibited that because that's the role he played in the material world. That's all. These great souls, they don't try to do any kind of magic. They act like others, you know. You look, you have Lord Ramachandra. When Sita was captured, what did he do? He lamented. There's a cave. You could go to it today. It's somewhere in the area of, I can't remember where Hanuman was born. Hampi, I think it's in Hampi. There's a cave there where for 4 months, Lord Ramchandra lamented the loss of his wife, and he was chanting her name on beads. He was doing japa by chanting Sita's name. 4 months. So, yeah, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can produce so many Sitas. But he was, in his Leela, he was playing the role of a human being. Yeah, don't misunderstand it. It's because the Lord plays the role of a human being. They're like a human being.
Thank you,
But they
Maharaj.
have certain characteristics that are very similar to ordinary humans. There's many examples.
Thank you, Maharaj. He also has another question. Can I go ahead and ask that one?
Bhavya?
Yeah.
Well, you're in charge.
He's saying, Guru Maharaj, Daksha Prajapati, the father of Sati, was a Vaishnav, and he was killed by Lord Shiva, who is also a Vaishnav. Shastras say that killing a Vaishnav is the biggest sin. So does this apply on Lord Shiva? Does he also get Vaishnava Aparadh for killing Daksha Prajapati?
You didn't kill him. And his followers came. Shiva didn't do it. It was Nandi, and there was one demon that was produced from Lord Shiva who came, cut off the head of Daksha, and gave him a head of a goat. He didn't die. He just got a new head. He was, you might say, he was getting ahead, getting ahead in life. Yeah, he didn't die. He just got his head cut off, and you might say he died like for a few minutes. Then they replaced his head with a goat's head. And Prabhupada talks about that. He said, just shows you that the soul is eternal, even though the body is not functioning. I think, okay, Parijata also has a question, I think. Right?
Yeah. She's saying, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Your Holiness. Does this purport teach us not to glorify death, but to honor those who choose to live responsibly, protect others, and serve despite unbearable loss?
Yeah, that's one message. Yeah. You should live out your life but in Krishna consciousness, not just live out your life. Living for the material body is another form of death, that's all. Those who live for the body are not alive, they're dying.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Prabhupada was in New York. He was walking with a few of his disciples, and he said, I'm seeing all of these people, but they're just dead bodies flapping. There's no life. Why? When there's no Krishna consciousness, there's no life. No Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness means the soul is becoming alive. The soul is stuck in this body, and it's being forgotten about. Therefore, the body is taking over, and not the body, but the mind takes over and directs everything. The mind is also material. So life is Krishna consciousness. That's why they say when you get an initiation, you get your second birth. You're actually born. Before initiation, you're still what we say, living. You're not living, you're just moving around. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is done by animals. So what's the difference? Spiritual life is life. There's no spiritual life, there's no life. It looks like life, but it's not. So Bobby has got 10,000 questions. Okay, let's see. Which one should we take next? Let's see. What question, Bobby, what question do you want to know about Shiva? You still you're trying to find fault with Lord Shiva? Is that your program?
Alright, so he's asking, did Daksh get a human-like head back, or did he continue to live his life with a good head forever?
I didn't catch the question.
He's asking, did Daksha get a human-like head back, or did he continue to live his life with a goat head forever?
Well, we have the story of Narada Muni later on in the 6th canto, where Daksha again was producing. Daksha is a Prajapati. His service is to produce living entities to bring in about the next creation. He's one of the sons of Lord Brahma. Brahma has 10 sons, and he's a Prajapati. That means he has to produce hundreds and thousands of children in order to help bring about the next creation. We have the story of Narada when Daksha produced the what was the name of those sons of Daksha? Sridevi, you know, from the 6th canto. There was 25,000 sons that he produced. And he told them to go to holy places and purify yourself and come back and enter into the Grihastha life so you could produce more children and help populate the universe again. But they met Narada Muni. Narada Muni said, hey, you guys are happy. Why you want to get married? Forget about it. Just go to the holy places and finish out your life and go back to Godhead. So they did. So when Daksha found out about that, he got angry, but then he went again and produced 25,000 more sons. And told them the same scenario. They went and they met Narada Muni. Narada told them, hey, don't waste time in this Grihastha life. Go back home, back to Godhead. So yeah, so they did. When that happened the second time, the Sattvakas, I think they're called the Sattvatas. There were two groups of children. And the third one, so Daksha, what he did the third time, he produced 25,000 girls. So Narada couldn't mess around. And then he got angry. He actually went and found Narada Muni and started chastising Narada Muni. Narada Muni just accepted his chastisement. because the Sattvikas and then there was the Sattvatas. Yeah. I forgot the name. It's in the sixth canto. You can read about it. The name of the groups of children he produced. It's an interesting pastime. So then he got angry at Narada and he said, I curse you that you cannot stay in one place. You have to keep traveling. So Narada took that as an opportunity to travel and preach. And Prabhupada writes, it's interesting, Prabhupada writes, Prabhupada said, I have also been cursed by the parents of my disciples. Therefore, I cannot stay in one place more than 3 days. So I'm asking my sannyas disciples to take up the curse for me and travel and preach so I can stay and finish Srimad Bhagavatam. You can read it, Prabhupada talks about. I've been cursed by the parents of my disciples. So yeah, that's the history.
Thank you, Maharaj. We have another question from Parijata Mataji on the chat. She's asking, does the purport reflect a time when grief was spiritualized in extreme ways?
I'm sorry, you speak so sweetly and softly, I just fall asleep.
I'll be a bit louder. Does the purport reflect a time when grief was spiritualized in extreme ways?
Again, I can't understand.
Does the grief reflect a time when grief was spiritualized? Sorry, does the purport reflect a time when grief was spiritualized in extreme ways?
Where grief was spiritualized?
Yeah.
Yeah, if your grief takes you closer to Krishna, then it's good. Then that's spiritualized grief. If it takes you away from Krishna, then it's material. It's Maya. You're grieving the loss of someone when you think, now I'm going to be fully Krishna conscious. If I'm fully Krishna conscious, then the benefit that soul who was my husband or wife will also get benefit, because now if I become Krishna conscious, they will also benefit, and that's a fact. So you can turn your grief in to help that departed soul by increasing your own relationship with Krishna, purifying yourself. So you're doing a service to that departed soul instead of just grieving. Yeah, if you become a pure devotee and 14 generations of your family members passed, they also, in their next life, they take birth in the devotee family and get a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. They take a good birth. So you want to help your relatives and friends that are departed, just become Krishna conscious, just become a pure devotee.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. So we have another question from Sarada Masjid. Maharaj, do you still have time, or can we go ahead and ask a few more questions?
We got 5 more hours, so.
Okay, Sarada Mataji, would you like to go ahead and ask a question?
Thank you, thank you. Grief, from what I understand, Maharaj, from what I have experienced, grief is love without a destination, and it's love in separation of that person that we're grieving. And the amount
What's the nature
in the
of that? You're feeling bad about yourself. That's all. You're not helping that person by grieving. You're just feeling bad about yourself. That's all. That's natural, but then again, you have to just get through that and go on with your life. It's not like you stay in grief. That's the main point. Nobody says you shouldn't feel unhappy or sad from the departed loved one, but how long you want to carry it on? Then you can't function then. You can't actually come up to the standard of actually living your life properly if you're always, burdened by grief, But if you use the grief to think, oh, all right, now I'm going to become more Krishna conscious, and that soul, who is my husband or wife or friend, they'll get some benefit. Yeah. And you will also, obviously. There's some people who like to grieve because then they feel good. But that's Maya.
What I was going to say is,
I'm so happy because I'm really sad. That's just that's complete idiocy.
the the
What did Krishna tell Arjuna? Asocham anvasocham sva pratyabharams chavasase gatasum zatgadatsum cha nanu shochane panditaha. You're lamenting for that which is not worthy of being lamented for. You're not a pundit, you're a pundit. You're ignorant, you're foolish. Krishna smashed him right at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. He was lamenting and thinking that he has to kill his friends and relatives. Krishna said, there's no question of killing, you're just giving them a new body, that's all. If we don't see the difference between material and spiritual, then we live in illusion, that's all. We based everything around what happens on the material level as good and bad. On this level, there's good and bad is just what is good is what brings us to Krishna. What is bad is what takes us away from Krishna.
like with Queen Kunti Maharaj, when she's using her suffering and using it as strength, thinking that is how much she can love Krishna. The amount that she's suffering, if she turned that energy into a productive way, that's how much she can love Krishna.
But her suffering wasn't continuous, it was just immediate. And then she went on and did her service to her sons and stayed fixed in her Krishna conscious. She was glorious. Later on, she was asking for suffering because she was getting too much, what we say, niceties in life, and then therefore she was forgetting Krishna. She was saying, "Give me some difficulty so I can remember you."
Yeah.
Krishna does that just to help us. He gives us some difficulty in life, but we just lament about the difficulty and we forget about Krishna. Difficulties are there to help us become more Krishna conscious. That's all. If your goal is not Krishna conscious, you'll kind of hypothesize, philosophize in so many wrong ways. Your goal has to be Krishna conscious. That's the goal. There's only one goal, to develop our love for Krishna, whatever it takes. If it takes some suffering, bring it on. We don't have to suffer if we do the right thing. If we stay fixed in our devotional service, then there's no question of suffering. Then Krishna consciousness is nice, life is nice, and we're moving forward. Chant, dance, take prasadam, read the books, worship in the temple, associate and serve devotees. These are all parts of the joyful principles of Krishna consciousness. The worst thing is to forget Krishna. That's the worst thing. And then you're under the influence of the material energy as soon as you forget Krishna. You have to understand what is the goal. If you have another goal, then you're going to be giving me all these kinds of philosophical ideas, which make no sense because the goal is wrong. The goal is not to be happy in the material world. That's not the goal. The goal is to become Krishna conscious, develop our love for Krishna, to go back home, to qualify ourselves to go back to the spiritual world. This life is simply an opportunity to rectify our mistake of leaving Krishna and falling into the material world. This is a rectification program. It's not a program for permanency or happiness. Yeah, we're in a hospital. We're trying to get cured of our disease. What is our disease? Material sense gratification. It's the disease. Yeah, she processed it by living through it and taking on the responsibilities given to her. Yeah. But we can naturally conclude that at one point she got over her grief and simply went full force into her Krishna consciousness. She was the ideal mother. She accepted suffering along with her children, although she didn't have to, but just to be with them, she did. For her to live in the forest, it's difficult for a woman to live in a forest. There's nothing to eat there. Fruits, roots, berries, leaves on the tree. She did it. Same with Sita. When Ram was banished to the forest, she undergo all kinds of austerity just to be with her husband. But as she said, what Sita said was really fundamental to our understanding. When Ram told her, how can you live in the forest? He gave her so many reasons how she would suffer in the forest. And after hearing everything, she said, my dear husband, Ayodhya without you is the forest, and the forest with you is Ayodhya. That's powerful. To be with Krishna in hell is better than to be in the heavenly planets drinking so much rasa. Because at least you're with Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji, for your question. That was really nice. Maharaj, we have a question from Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu. He's asking if he can ask a question unrelated to the topic. Is that okay?
He's smiling, so it must be a good question.
Would you like to go ahead?
You're not grieving, are you?
Thank you. Guru Maharaj, yesterday I spent around 3 hours, reading Radha Bhakti Mataji's book. And I have to say, it's so beautiful. It's so inspirational. It's so heart-rending. It's so nourishing. We're reading about great devotees who are living the instructions of Radhanath Maharaj, who has encapsulated the essence of Shastra. And the whole book steers you towards love of Krishna.
Yeah, yeah. Bhaktivedanta Hospital, yeah. Miracle on, was it Miracle on Mirror Road? The book just came out. You're fortunate to have a copy already.
It's the best book I've ever read in my life.
Now you got me going. I don't have a copy yet, so I'll have to get it. Thank you. Yeah, it's really compassion in its highest. How 5 doctors who all could, each one of them were qualified in their own field, got together and decided to open up a hospital and give up their personal practice, their fame and name, whatever they were meant to achieve, to follow the instructions of their spiritual master, to open up a hospital to give spiritual care and material care, medical care to people in general at a very, very low price. It's called a low-cost hospital. The hospital is winning awards even to this day. The doctors are all devotees, and even within the environment, there is kirtan, there is Prabhupada's classes being broadcast, Prabhupada's bhajans being broadcast, so many things.
There is also the altar at the entrance.
Oh yeah, there's a temple there with Lord Jagannath.
Morning programs.
Yeah, there's morning programs, everything. Prashad. Everybody gets prashadam. Yeah, I've had a lot of experiences on a personal level with the hospital. And it's just, amazing. This is Srila Prabhupada's Van Ashram in action. Thank you for bringing that point up. Did you finish the book yet?
No, I will probably. No, I didn't. I didn't want to put it down, but I didn't finish it. But I didn't want to continue reading when I was tired and I couldn't relish it as much. But when I woke up the next morning, I was so happy just from reading that. And even now, I just feel so happy.
Whoa.
All you can think about is like love of God from reading that book.
Really amazing. Now I have to read it. Thank you. Now, may all the devotees, it's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. It just hit the market now. It's called Miracle on Mirror Road. That's the name of it. And we got Sri Devi. She's a member of the hospital now. Hey. She's one of the people who are performing miracles now. Yeah, there's so much out there. Take advantage of it. Okay, so should we stop here?
Yeah, we can stop here.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for such a nice class. Sorry, I just jumped in to announce tomorrow's class. I just want to share the verse and the timing with the devotees. Guru Maharaj, tomorrow's class is with Bhakti Sangha devotees, and the verse number is 8th canto, 17th chapter, 17 to 23. 17, 18, 19, 20. Many verses we are covering tomorrow.
It starts 20 minutes later.
20 minutes later from our regular time. It's 12:20 p.m. UK time.
I only have 1 hour tomorrow. That's all I have for that class.
Yes, correct.
run to another program that's happening. So yeah, I'll be there for 1 hour. Just you might want to inform that I can only go for 1 hour. That's all.
Yes, Gurumaharaj. Sure, definitely. Thank you so much.
Okay, we did an hour and a half. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Maharaj, for such a wonderful class. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. Thank you.
Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Gurumaharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Precious New Year.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
We got the
Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
It's 0 degrees out, and she's perspiring. It's so hot. Anyway, Happy New Year to everybody, and we'll give one class about the importance of New Year's vows. First, this is for Vaishnavas. New Year is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, but we honor the secular program of changing the year, not the same way that they do, but we honor it by chanting and dancing. There's a saying, whatever you do on January 1st of the beginning of the year will be the foundation for your activities throughout the whole year. So tomorrow, don't sleep. Tomorrow, just go to kirtans and read books and chant and dance.
Yes, Gurumaharaj.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a fact, that whatever you do on January 1st will set the pattern for the rest of the world, the rest of the year. Okay, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Gurumaharaj.
Hey, thank you. Hare Krishna, Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari, Hari Hari, Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, Sridevi, your refrigerator is fixed.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. I wanted it fixed so that you could keep all your things nicely. That's the only reason I got it repaired.
Haribol.
Thank you. And I'm so glad I got out of the refrigerator of Mayapur and came over here. I've heard that it's the coldest. The last 2 nights have been the coldest so far. I don't know how much colder.
I'm going to tell you one particular story that just happened 2 days ago. It is the most amazing story. It happened here in Mayapur. I have to read it. I read it last night, and I'm going to ask the person who has it on his phone to read it. It is amazing. It is amazing. And maybe I'll find the best day, maybe tomorrow or the day after I'll read it. And I can also forward it to the other devotees once I get it. I don't have it right now. But it is amazing. Really amazing. It's coming right from the spiritual world. This what happened. Okay, so thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Hari.
Thank you, Sri Janamati.
Thank you, Sri Janamati.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.